Hopefully that's better. Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Tales of Destiny. Yeah, that's better. I was just making sure my audio levels were okay. Last time we made it to the city, to the big old city, and, so a lot of things got screwed up last time. This was originally supposed to be part 11. Granted, part 10 was going to be, like, painfully short. Like, probably 10 minutes at most. So here's what happened. I recorded the footage, everything came out hunky-dory for, the most part. And I kind of screwed up, and because when I'm recording footage for this game, I'm using the in-depth, like, game bar, that's, already installed into the computer, which does its job fairly well. It's just, like a moron, I close out the game before I stop the recording, and it did not save the recording that I ended up doing for all the data. So I guess to summarize, I was just showing off all the armor I acquired in that section. So you meet with Eileen, and Leon explains to her what the plan is. We're gonna be baiting out these pirates so we can potentially get that package back that has the Eye of Etemoni. Or at least, like, lure Lydon out. So that's pretty much what happened. Also, like, this boy was getting bullied, and, like, Stan and Rudy were sticking up for the kid, so that's kind of cool. But as for what's going on with this part, because you're noticing that, you might have noticed that the music just sort of cut in, faded out, and then faded back in. When I recorded this part, and let me tell you, this part was freaking long. Like, it was, like, literally over an hour worth of footage. I managed to shrink it down to less than 30 minutes. We'll get into why that's the case in a little bit, but, my audio was super scratchy. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. Because, like, because we're about to get on the pirate ship now, and, like, the audio is playing like normal. Oh, you're here. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Like, the audio will play normal for this part. I'll explain in just a moment. Hey, do you want to say that? He is too young? Pardon me, but should select someone with more experience to be in charge here. I'm trying to think of the good voice for a captain, but it's not like we're gonna see him again. Are you implying that I am only a helpless woman too? I was just kidding. But don't worry, this is being done under Hugo's orders. President Hugo. I understand. Then he's in charge now. Whoa, Leon, good luck. I won't disappoint you. I know you won't. Captain, let's set sail right away. So, this is the part where the audio is screwed up. So, unfortunately, I had to literally cut the audio from the part that I recorded, and I had to get risks from the soundtrack and just sort of edit the music in as best as I could. I say as best as I could, but, let me just say, there's going to be a certain track you're going to get really sick of by the end of this part, because of how long this part goes on for. Well, on top of the fact, also, the audio just bounced up super high for no reason. That was weird. Her loudness graces us with her annoying presence. Shut up, you brat! Why do I have to go on watch duty? This is so boring, I think I'm going insane! Is that a bit of my sun kiss? Okay. Alright, I wish they would just get it over with and attack us right now. That is the strangest thing I've ever heard. You want us to be attacked? Oh, give me a break. I think I know what you mean. Hey, Stan, you better not start saying weird things too. Remember, it's our strategy to let them attack us and get all of them with one swift blow. Well, yeah, you're right. This strategy might turn out to be a mistake. What? What do you mean by that? I mean, they are not stupid. They might have recognized that this is a trap. What's going on? The enemy is here. I guess they're stupid after all. Are you being sarcastic? No, not really. Well, let's go. I think if you talk to the bartender, you get stuff, but I'm not entirely sure on that. So yeah, like I said, the audio was super scratchy, and I had to edit in the music, and it was a real pain in the ass. I wasn't happy with how it came out. But anyways, before I explain how this whole thing works with the pirate ships, we're gonna explain the kind of enemies we got on these ships, because it's pretty much the same throughout the entire shtick. You got pirates, berserkers, and war vultures. The war vultures, they're just like any standard bird enemy we fought up to this point, so they're not much of a threat. The berserkers hit really hard, but they mainly focus on single attacks. The pirates, however, they're fairly quick, and they can slap. Yeah, they're fairly quick. They don't do a lot of damage, but they can combo you. Also, they have an attack animation where they hit you with fish. I find it strange too. But on top of us fighting these guys, we might as well show off some of the new skills I've got since last time. Lydon acquired a new ability called Stonewall, because for some reason, every character needs a wall variant of their magic ability. I find it kind of stupid, but whatever. As long as it gets me results, I could care less. But Stonewall hits fairly hard, but it's only really single target, so don't think you could use it like Stan's Firewall, where it can hit multiple targets, but they gotta be in close range to each other. I think. I could end up being wrong about that, and I'm gonna feel really stupid later if I am. But we're also going to take advantage of that medium food sack, because there is food all over the place in these pirate ships. But anyways... Okay, we actually got another battle. I can show something off. Oh yeah, that's right. Rudy has ice walls, the same thing as Stonewall, except it's like a cloak of ice. Cloak of ice? Anyways. Stan and Lydon are going to learn some cool stuff later, but I'm saving those for the boss fight for this area, because, yeah, you heard me right, we actually have a boss fight, like a proper boss fight. The first one since the beginning of the game. I guess that would imply there was a boss at the beginning. Whatever. I'm sorry if I'm, like, stuttering a lot or just, like, not saying the right words. I'm sort of flabbergasted anymore. Because I've had to edit all the music back in. The fact that it took me this recording was a darn hour. On top of the fact, I could not find the time for the life of me to actually record the commentary itself. Because usually someone comes up to hang out with me, because I'm having a relative of mine play through some of the other Tales of games. And yeah, it's so that's been pretty damn hectic. So I do apologize for how late this is coming off as. So yeah, that's pretty much all of what happened. So I apologize. This is super unprofessional, but there was nothing I could really do about it. I'm gonna make sure to double check my footage before stuff like this happens again. If anything, I'll use the third empty save slot as a failsafe from now on, considering what happened. Because I usually use the second file in the slots for my test playthrough, and the first one for the actual recording. I will probably use that third one as the failsafe from now on, now that I know that problem can arise. So yeah. Anyways, with these pirate ships, there are items scattered all over the place, and there are so many things you can acquire. There's a lot of food you can accumulate. My favorite is actually the tuna, because the tuna can fill up your bag almost entirely. It gives you 1,500 points worth of food out of 2,000. And this is before we could get the large sack later on in the game. Not sure dead offhand how much it can contain, but whatever. But the enemies we fought earlier, I'm also making sure you know that characters leveled up when they did. But I feel like the level up notification feels a little inconsistent, because it'll show the level up label above their heads at the end of a battle, but then I would check their status and their level hasn't changed. Like, I'm not sure if the message was meant for another character or not. See, it was above Philia twice, so I found that really odd. But there's like a bunch of there's a bunch of herbs that can increase your stats and whatnot. There's a few weapons here and there. Most of the weapons aren't anything to write home about, because if you went out of your way to buy the weapons in the shops in the city, you should be well prepared. There are a few armor pieces in here though that in the pirate ships that you're going to be able to go out of your way for. It's really cool stuff. But the pirate ship goes on for quite a while, and there's multiple pirate ships in a row, and they all have the same exact layout, minus like the last one, where our first real boss fight's going to take place. And these pirates, and this whole pirate fleet shtick actually has a whole gimmick to it. Because whenever you complete one of these pirate fleets, we're actually going to see in a moment, but before that, we got to fight the leader of this pirate ship. Overall G, I think that heals for maybe like 85 HP or something. Alright, the reason why I'm showing this off is because the enemies are slightly different for the main leader of the individual ships. Because instead of berserkers and war vultures, we got monk soldiers and priestess from before. The monk soldier is not any different from what we dealt with last time. However, the priestess can actually use some magic on you. They only really have like wind arrow. I think that's, yeah, they can use the wind arrow spell, which isn't anything to write home about, but it is something to note because they actually attack you this time, as opposed to just trying to drop your stats a little bit. But anyways, whenever you complete a pirate ship, the captain of your ship will comment on your performance. The better you did on the battleship, the better the items will be on the second battleship. So since I managed to rock the boat, that was that was unintentional. I'm sorry. Since I managed to do really well, the items that spawn in the next battleship are only that much better. If you take too long, which granted they give you more than enough time. I don't know how much time exactly, but trust me, they give you plenty of time to get through everything. And I feel they give you a lot of time to get the items. As long as you're not dawdling in the battles themselves, you should be fine. Also, now we got Firestorm for Stan. Stan, that is the most powerful spell you have at your disposal right now. It hits for multiple targets, and it's the most damaging attack you have in the game at this point. It does require like 36 TP, so use it sparingly because it is quite costly. And I would not recommend it for the boss fight because good luck getting the cast off. Now I'm going to be basically doing some really swift editing where I'm only really trying to show off me getting all the items. There's a tuna, there's another tuna, there's another tuna, and there's a kite shield. Also, you can get mackerels in this area. Don't use them. They don't. Not only do they actually lower your food count, they can actually make your food stack a negative number, which I think means if you take any steps, it'll actually drain your HP. I don't think that I didn't test it, but I like to think that's how it works. On top of that, the mackerel also poisons you, so that's a real pain in the ass that nobody asks for. I actually showed off the energy bullets. You're not going to see it, unfortunately, because this part's long enough as it is. I didn't want to stretch it out any longer, because we'd be here all damn day, and I don't got the pay. I ain't got time for that. I want to move on with this story finally. I probably should use a flare bottle during the boss fight, but anyways, like I said, the mackerels, don't eat them. They'll poison you if you eat them raw. I think if you use a rune bottle on them later, they can become something edible, but I'm not sure. It's kind of like with the wormy apples, which can also lower your food stack to go into the negatives. If you use it on them, you can get jam, so that's cool. Also, I think we already saw it, but Philia also learned Tractor Beam, where she pulls up enemies from the ground and drops them down once they reach the top of the screen. And she not only does it hit for decent damage, it also can get multiple targets, so that's pretty cool. As for the energy bullets, from what I've noticed, it's actually a damaging item, and it deals for a decent amount. Like, it basically just sends a bunch of electricity across the ground and hits the enemy that's currently on the screen, like your screen. So, like, if you're fighting an enemy and your party members are fighting another, the energy bullet's not going to actually hit them because, or is it a single target used? Whatever. Again, I don't remember too much of this because it's been like, damn, when did I record this thing? Excuse me. I recorded this thing like a week ago or something. Also, finally I acquired twin bombs, so now she can throw 2 bombs. So that's cool. It's not that useful or that interesting to boot because it's just 2 bombs as opposed to 1. However, we also got the talisman, increases our defense by 5%. So that's cool. We could use that later, I guess. And we're gonna use some beef. So what's for dinner? Beef. The hell's with the descriptions? And that is the Wall of Flame disc. Remember the disc we gave to Rudy a while back, which allowed her to use Fireball? Well, we're now replacing that with that, so she can now use the Firewall spell. I don't expect her to get too much use out of that. I feel like she's just better off using her ice spells, but more spells the better. I kind of wish it was like the later games where she would be able to permanently learn the spells, so you wouldn't need the disc anymore, but unfortunately that's just not how it works. So I just, and there's no real reason for me to give it to anybody else. Philia's already got plenty of spells, and I prefer Leon keep the disc he has on him currently to just give his stats a boost. As a matter of fact, I think Philia has Fireball by default, so it would be a literal waste of a slot for to fill in with the disc. Also, this is the last battleship. We're going to be fighting the boss real soon, and unfortunately it's filled to the brim with a bunch of generic healing items. What I recommend you do for this, though, when you're getting through the battleships, make sure all your items are at 14, not 15. Minus your miracle gels, because you can't buy those. Like your lemons, your lemon gels, your pine gels, your apple gels, and your orange, and no, your green gels and your orange gels. I'm sorry, they don't make them apple gels until later in the series. Actually, no, I think there were apple gels in Fantasia. Whatever. Make sure they're at 14, because that way, whenever you pick another one up, you could just use it immediately. Because, as I said before, this is one hell of a gauntlet. This is a long section of the game. You're going to be here for quite a while. And I'm just trying to go through everything I have. I think I'm looking for something. Oh well, it's not a big deal. It's not important. But the captain should be just up ahead. And we got an hourglass. It can stop enemies in their tracks for a few seconds. I don't find it super useful. In fact, the only time I ever used it in the first game was for the final boss. Just because it was recommended to me. Now for this fight, I'm not using Fire Lamp because you do not want to use spells for this. Not because they're not very useful, but you're not going to be able to cast them effectively. Batista! Philia? Who is this? He is a priest who used to work with me. I didn't think you would come after me. You should have remained as a statue. Batista, where is Lydon? I'll tell you if you win this fight. You're the only one left. This is your last chance to surrender peacefully. Who do you think you are? You don't know the gravity of your own situation. And now we've got our first real boss fight, Batista. Not the wrestler. Just had to get that out of the way. It's not the big ass wrestler. I dropped wrestling a few years ago. I don't know. I was the big Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dwayne Johnson as the Rock kid. I just dropped it after a while. But anyways, with Batista, you've got two monk soldiers, two priestesses, and Batista himself. Before I explain Batista, we acquired two art skills earlier with Stan and Leon. With Stan, it's called Vortex, where Stan uses an uppercut. I think you just saw it actually, where he uses an uppercut and he comes back down really hard. With Leon, he got Dragon Blade, which I think I'm trying to show off right now. Yeah, Dragon Blade is just a multi-hit attack. I think he hits for like 4 or 5 times. Now, here's the problem with Batista and why I suggested to not use spells, minus, I guess, Rudy's first aid. Batista is fast, really fast, and he is also relentless. When he starts attacking you, he doesn't tend to stop. And if you're not as high level as I am, like if you're still level 15 or below, this boss fight is going to really kick your ass because he hits for a fair amount of damage, and he doesn't stop. So if you try to cast spells, he's going to interrupt you all the time, and it's not a good time. The boss music is actually pretty fantastic, though. But yeah, and this won't be the only time we're beating Batista, because we're going to fight him again later. Because just a quick spoiler, he doesn't actually die here. We just knock him out and take him into custody. Leon has plans for him, you'll see. Damn it! Now tell us where Lydon is. Lydon? Who? I don't have a clue. What? You promised you would tell us. You are so naive. Promises are made to be broken. I know how to deal with scum like you. I have my methods. I'll interrogate you thoroughly when we get back to shore. You've been forewarned. Ha! Don't threaten me, you little punk! You'll be sorry for your lack of respect. And that's all there is to it. I'm glad I managed to rant as long as I have, because I was afraid there was going to be some dead air at a certain point, because again, it was an hour long. I made it just under half an hour. It's like, I think it's going to cap at like 26 something, almost 27. Leon. Eileen, meet the leader of the pirates. All of you have done well. I don't know how to thank you. It's no big deal. Eileen, we have to use one of your rooms. That's fine, but what for? I'm interrogating this scum. I need him to give us some information. I'll go ahead to Eileen's house. Don't waste your time sightseeing. Come straight to her house. Okay, okay. Hey, walk straight. Okay, alright. And they're gonna be at the house. So we're gonna meet up with them shortly. And by shortly, I mean next part. Once again, I can't stretch this enough. I apologize for all the nonsense that happened via recording all this. I'm gonna make sure I have a backup just in case something like that goes wrong. But in any case, phew. Next time on Tales of Oh my goodness! Next time on Tales of Destiny, we're gonna see if we can get some information out of this Batista guy, and hopefully find out where Lydon is. So until then, I get a juice. Huh, damn it.